Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I Survived. I am your host, Rita Green. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you guys this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being a part of this show. We have an amazing story for you tonight, and our special guests have survived so much, and we're here to tell about it and to help somebody else with their story and what they're going through. So let's get straight into it and welcome Felicia and Lashana to I Survived. And today we're going to be talking about surviving dysfunction. Welcome, ladies.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. You guys are beautiful queens, and the fact that you are sisters is beautiful. So I'm excited about this show. I'm excited to learn with you, with I guess the viewers, and learn with them what you've been through, what you have survived, and just hear how amazing your life has turned out to be, and how you changed how you changed tragedy into triumph. So
Yes.
thank you again. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for inviting us, and we are glad to be here.
Oh, absolutely. So tell me a little bit about you. Where are you from?
We're from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, born and raised.
Yeah, born and raised.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Have you guys ever wanted to live anywhere else, or this is just kind of it for you?
California, baby.
California, and she's lived in Georgia as well.
Yeah, California
Yes,
is
that's where I want to live.
the top of my list, though.
What's at the top?
California, of course.
Oh, okay. I love Georgia.
Season, little season
Yeah.
salt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, walk me through life as a child. I know that you guys have survived some dysfunction. What was life like in your household?
Shauna, the big sister, mother Goose, to me and my sister, Frances is us three girls. My mom had three girls, and Lashana's the oldest. I'm the middle, and then my sister is 4 years younger than me. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we grew up going to school, and I ran track. I think you didn't do sports.
I wanted to be a cheerleader or a
Yeah.
dancer or something, but I never made it.
Yeah, to no avail.
I was in the cool club. I was
Yeah.
just cool. I just made that. Yeah. I did good with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I did good
with our mom. We live with our mom, and we go over our dad's house every other weekend. Type thing. So, but our dad was present in our life as well.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. All right. And so, what age were you when they separated?
Like
4 or 5.
4 and 6.
We're 2 years apart, so
I was 6 and maybe she was 4, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is, they're so good friends.
They're still best friends to this day.
They're like together.
Wow.
Yeah. Like this as best friends. Like she's moved on, he's moved on, and they'll come over. He'll come over,
play cards. And it's like they're still just. I think they get along better now. Like throughout all this, but it's like a brotherly, sisterly type love.
Yeah.
Like we're family.
He was over there Friday. So. They were playing cards.
Okay.
Yeah, they hang out still. So it's love.
Yeah. That is so awesome. So do you remember when they separated? I mean, you guys were only 4 and 6, but was that hard? Was that rough for you when your parents separated? Even though you're good friends now, at the time you guys were so young, what was that like for you?
Yeah, I remember that. And, like I said, we would go over there on the weekends, and our little sister, she has a different father,
Okay.
And so she would go with us, initially. And then my dad, had a girlfriend, had moved on. And it was like she she almost like stopped my sister from like coming with us on the weekend. And I feel like to this day, that was kind of like one of the things that kind of even separated us as sisters. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, because it was like my father was willing and, you know, loving and everything, you know, to my little sister, and he had no problem. But to this day, she'll, you know, kind of give him flack, because it's like, if you love me, why didn't you override that for me, you know? Right. So it's like, it always, the dysfunction in that is that it's always like, no matter what, it's like she's her, Lashana's her big sister, like she's my big sister, but she'll always try to pit it like it's us against her, because I feel it's stemming from that situation.
She didn't have a relationship with her father, you know, until like later in life, you know, and he passed away. So yeah, that was a thing. It was a thing.
But it's almost like an underlying thing still within our relationship that, and we were kids too. Like we, you know, no, we didn't have anything to do, you know, it's like, but I just feel like it's a thing, you know. It's a thing still. Absolutely. You know, it's like us against her, like that kind of separated us. You know.
So maybe you think maybe she felt like she didn't belong.
Yeah. It's like she carried that spirit and used it. You know, it came out in different, you know, situations. Yeah.
Right.
And being that she was so young, I think she just didn't understand. And so it's like, now we're going over our dads and she's going over grandma's, you know, type thing. So it's like a thing. A thing for sure. You know? So.
And so how did you guys feel towards her though? Did you share in that feeling, or was that kind of something that she projected on you?
No, we shared it because, I mean, we don't understand and we're young too. But, you know, to be fair, I think my mom kind of contributed to why that strain became, you know, because she's hell on wheels. And just with the other women and that whole relational thing that kicked in when, you know, so I understand, you know, but you know, as a kid, now I do, but as a kid, you know, just things just don't seem fair. And then you internalize them and they kind of become some of your makeup, you know, you know, they can easily become part of, you know, your making and, you know, in your emotional, you know, state.
It starts to kind of breed rejection, you know, at that young age.
Right. Yeah. So what took place in your household? Like, what kind of parents did you have? You know, were they there for you? Were they present, or were they just physically present?
They were there. I think that is, you know, part of what maybe helped us kind of hold on, or, you know, because we do have a root. We had a foundation. You know, like Felicia said, when things, you know, went separate, we still had a rhythm and a togetherness, and the love was, you know, evident. But it's when like my mother and my father started experiencing their own personal, you know, hurdles that you know, and drugs is one of them. You know, first my mother, and then my father tried to, you know, cover for her, you know, when that started happening, you know, because she had moved on and was with another, you know, man who took us in like his kids, like, you know,
but she was part of a motorcycle club, you know, the Downtown Riders. And so that was her, that was her, you know, that was her lifestyle, a party. A party.
I love it.
A party. And to this day. So that party lifestyle, the motorcycle club and all that, I think is how she kind of started her introduction, or just, you know, that experience came on. She started experiencing that. And So that's kind of when things. So I was about second, third grade. You know, we had a home in middle class. My stepfather, he was like, you know, just amazing, which helped us stay, you know, tried to help her. And then he ended up doing drugs. So it's like his, you know, his foundation, and he was strong and made money, and, you know, she didn't have to work, and it just all went away. Like, you know, then my father started doing drugs, and then, so it's like, you know, we're getting evicted, having to move, you know, the
Did
truck.
you know they were doing drugs, or when did you find out, and how did you figure out that, you know, drugs were involved?
Because they would kind of go, like, we had, like, in our house, we lived on 43rd and Guilford. We had, you know, a nice
43rd and Guilford?
Yeah.
My grandmother lives on 42nd and Guilford.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was 42nd.
Probably know the Pinkins. That's my family. The Pinkins.
No, Sandra Pinkins.
Yeah. That's my cousin.
She was on the same block. I went to school with her. She was my friend. Yes.
Wow. It's a small world.
Yes. I used to be at their house.
Yes. Okay.
I went right down the street.
Yes.
But
okay. That is awesome. So, you know, you were saying how you found out, you know, how you noticed, you know, things were changing, and how did you know they were on drugs?
Because on Fridays, like, they would start having friends come over. We had a basement, and they would go in the basement. You know, first it was just a couple of them, but it was, you know, they got paid on they got paid on Friday, and then, you know, the basement, you know, they would make sure we had snacks and this and that, and
take us to McDonald's, you know, sit us down. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the party was like long. I'm like, okay, when is it over? Like,
right.
Like the next
day. We come upstairs.
So it's like, then it's like, now you broke. Like, so what's happening down there? You know?
Yeah.
And then it would go
did it scare you? Were you concerned when you know, did you see them doing drugs, or did you kind of just
they made sure, I think they tried to be respectful.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like grown people downstairs hanging out. Like,
but it's like their friends that'll give you $1 when they come in.
And we knew them.
You know, it's like, so you didn't feel like, you know, like it wasn't like strangers, or, you know what I'm saying?
It was like they were like been with aunts and uncles, but just their close friends.
Yeah.
It started being different people. Like, Mama, this man at the door.
So did you guys ever so during this time, did you like miss your parents? Were they absent? Was it just a weekend thing? Did it become something that was, you know, often?
I think it became a problem when, like I said, my stepfather, he was like a truck driver. And so he had like got us a house, and, you know, he had like a couple cars and this and that, you know. And one time when he was out of town, like my mother like spent all his money, and like he came home from work, and it was like, I mean, he like put his hands on her, like, you know, I mean, it was just like he was livid, you know.
Right.
And because at the time he didn't even know that she was doing it, you know, not even, or I don't think to that level, you know what I'm saying, that you would spend all the money in the bank, you know, while I'm on the road. And like, I think it was like really from there, it was like, she would like go out, you know, I'm gonna go to the club, you know, or whatever, the motorcycle club or whatever. Then she wouldn't come home with the car, and he, you know, gotta go to work and this and that, you know. So then he'll put his hands on her, you know. Like I said, she was about that life. Like she, she, you know, it was like, but and I feel like that was just like the thing that I feel like most affected me, like seeing her be abused. Like I started waiting, like to this day I bite my nails, you know, when I don't get them done, you know. But just because I would just like wait up in the middle of the night, the days that she would like go out, like, Mama, like, okay, like, you know, he gotta go, you know. Then you see him outside like pacing around, you know, like, you know. So I'm like, okay, she know he gotta go to work. And then like, Lord forbid she just don't come. I'm like, okay, like,
So what does that do for you as a child? What does that do to you, having to see your mom being abused, and then she's not home, she's out all night. How did that affect you? What does that do to a baby girl, a child?
It was like it was a lot, but it was like a mix. It was mixed because I will watch her sit on the steps and wait on my mother. Like, we got to go to school in the morning. We have 4th grade, 3rd grade. But it's like, then we will be so mad at our mother. Like, why are you doing this? Like, okay, go have fun and come home. Like, he wants his woman home. And then, he got to go to work. He's taking care of us. He's taking care of you. Like, why are you being disrespectful? Why are you that's disrespectful? So then I'm mad at him because I'm like, why are you going to hit her? Like, when she gets here, like, that's our mother, Yeah. So it was like she was wrong, like, but she was sick, and I think, that it
but
was.
Then I think start him trying to keep her home is how he got started doing it as well.
Yeah. Stay home, have a few people over, just down in the basement.
Because when they first met, he wasn't an addict. Like, he was, you know what I'm saying? He was like strong. He met this young lady with her 3 kids, her 3 daughters, and like he was
saved the day
to us,
Yeah. So did you miss your mom? Did you feel abandoned by her? Like, what did you feel not being able to have access to her?
We did, because she, like we said, like, she's so fun. Like, she love kids. Like, who she is a beautiful person. Like, that's why I said the foundation. I know who she is. I know who she was. I know who she still is. But so much of her has got lost. But then she got broken, and then but she's like everybody loved her, like the kids, the adults. Like, you're gonna have fun if she's around. Like, and you're her kid too, or you're her sister too. Like, so she started not being available because, for one, if she was beat up, she's in the bed laying for 3 days crying, or so I almost watched her spirit kind of dwindle, and I'm like, nobody will ever put their hands on me. Like, never. Like, to this day, nobody ever put their hands. Not that I'm not even a tough or nothing, but if I just smell it, sense it, like, just see a sparkle of a thing in your eye, like, I'm out of here. Like,
be right back.
or not. I'm not gonna be back. I'm not coming back. Like, or don't talk to me like that. Like, are you talking to me? Like, that's always been there, for me. And maybe because of that, just like, no, but I knew also I don't disrespect anybody either. Cause like,
yeah. And how was that to see your mom in that, position? Because it's impossible for you as a child to not be broken when your mom is broken. It automatically breaks you. So what was your brokenness like? What did your brokenness feel like, and what did it look like? What did it do to you?
I think that's actually like how we became so close, like, just, and during that, like, together or whatever, and being able to, go to our grandmother's house or whatever, where it's like, it's kind of carefree, like, you go to church and run around with your cousins and different things like that,
and then to our father's house, he would still come and get us on the weekends and play. We would love going to our cousins and, aunts on, his side. But Felicia did, I think so. That was like 6, and then it was still going on. It's been going on. It's still going on. So just think 6, teenager, but like you said, it made us close, and it made us figure out, okay, we got to take care of ourselves. Okay, start babysitting, cleaning up people's apartments in our apartment, babysitting and cleaning up. Just to.
That's a lot for a child. That's a lot for a young girl. It's I can't even imagine just wanting to have your mom there, and even if she's there, you still want her there because she's just physically represented. But if she's in the bed and she's aching and hurting and crying, you really couldn't get from her what you needed. You have to really become the mothers and figure out life. And that's something that was taken, your childhood, your innocence was taken from you. So I just, I can't even imagine you guys having to feel, how do you place the love, and how do you place the attention and the things that every young girl wants and needs from her mother? How did you guys cope with that?
It seemed like, that's a good question. It seemed like somebody was always there though, like to
kind of distract you, maybe
catch to just cover us, or like my aunt, my aunts and my grandmother, but like they would step in and make sure, like, because it started being like everybody got used to it, like but then one thing about my mother, she wouldn't be at, like, her and my stepfather separated. It's her and our mother, us and our mother. But she would leave the house and she didn't bring it home there, which means we would be at home for 3 days by ourselves. Like,
once we got
how did you survive?
12, 11, 13, being home by ourselves. We figured out what to do.
Yeah.
We were, and so when she left my stepfather, and that, because of the domestic, we went to a shelter, the Salvation Army, downtown Indianapolis. And if, they were giving out referrals to live in, like a emergency, like Section A.
That's about early Section A.
Right.
So it was like these apartments on 96 in College that accepted them.
Benchmark apartments.
That, in Carmel, like, that we got to go. I think, and it's like a mixed community. Just so many of them were for that. And it's like, that's where we got to go to. And that's where she would leave us. So it's like,
but our aunt lived in the same apartments, like a couple of buildings over or whatever.
But we were like safely by ourselves in this pocket of safety in a safe neighborhood, like where, like I said, that's where we started babysitting for people down the street, walking people dogs, like hustling, buying our school clothes.
Yeah, you just stepped up and did it.
I'm 12, 11. She's if I can't babysit, that was our entrepreneurship started. But we bought our school clothes, our little sister's school clothes, something to eat. Like, that was like 11, 12.
That's a lot of pressure. That is a lot of pressure.
But it didn't feel like it, because it was like, you learn, you do what you got to do.
Just adapt.
It's like it started being, okay, this what you gonna let me babysit?
Yeah.
And you want me to babysit Monday and Friday? Like, cool, I get to, as long I have a way in the morning, like, and you kind of like, you can't even, you don't even think about, oh, my mother, like, it's almost like I got to take care of myself. I got to figure this out. Like, but like I said, it was people like our neighbors and just everybody that was just each step of each stage of what we went through. People were there to like help us get to, they don't even know how much they were probably even helping us. But then again, they might have like, or let me help these girls, or let me whatever, to a ride to school. We missed the bus. Like my mother wasn't there, or we walked, or, this and that. But
did you miss her?
It almost, no, we were like mad at her. We were mad at her.
And then she'll come home, like when she come home, like when she come home, we bet not be mad. Like, and it's like, girl, like
that's unfair. How am I not gonna be mad and you're my mom and not here?
You better not be disrespectful. You better not get smart. So then you don't say nothing because you don't want to talk to her. Do you hear me talk? And it's like, you don't want to talk. Like, don't talk to me right now, lady.
Right.
So it was that, but it was her guilt that she knew what she did. But then we understood she was sick. So it was like anger. So your question, what you're asking is, it wasn't hurt or like broke. It was like anger, which kind of fuel, which was used for fuel.
Right.
So do you think, because anger is a lot of times a secondary reaction. So there, usually there's an emotion behind the anger that causes you to be angry. Do you think it was just, because of the situation or her not being there, or, what you guys had to go through? Like, what what hurt you, or what were you angry about the most?
I think because we were so young and we just didn't understand. We didn't understand that she was sick or whatever, you know. And it's like when you live in like we went to like, you know, Washington Township and stuff, and it's like that community is kind of like, you know, parent-based, supportive parents, like, you know, different things like that. And so that's when you kind of notice that, or that's the thing that make you feel bad, or you know, when your mom's not at the game, or like, you know, different things like that. She's not picking you up, or you know, different things like that. So I think that's when I kind of would mainly feel her absence, you know, when I during those times when it was time to kind of lend that support.
Yes,
or
absolutely.
you can do, the other parents are there. The kids don't got to worry about the same things that, you know, we came home, the lights off. We got to plug the cord up in the hallway to run into our apartment and, you know, to have lights. And, you know, it was just like so much of that stuff, you know, that just like, dang, why do, that's almost like as a kid, we had to worry
about grown stuff,
about adults. Like then we started working at 14, me and Burger King, her, and we started paying the light bill and the, like, if we want them on. So it, you know, it wasn't that much, but it was, you know, in a little apartment, but, and then she had like, you know, we paid like $29 for rent. So, and we got put out because she didn't pay that after, you know, 2 months in a row, you know. So that's when we were really mad. Like, why would you not, like, you know? So
we went from 96 in college to 21st in college, and let me tell you,
the difference.
I'm like, what? Like, what is this? Like, I mean, it's like a culture shock, like, for real. I mean, it's like you couldn't walk down to get your to the candy store, you know, and you got guys pulling over. Like, I mean, it was just like this whole. I'm like, this is the stroll, like, you know, this is the stroll. Like, where are we at? What happened? Like, you know. So it was a total culture shock, you know. But it, you know, and in hindsight, it's like I felt like those times though kind of like bred us, you know, for life, because a lot of the people that I would almost kind of like envy some of my friends and like the relationship with their parents, or both their parents, or they're, you know, supportive, or this, that, and the other, or whatever.
Or they just always had what they needed. Like,
but then when we got older, they weren't as strong as me.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like they weren't strong enough to be grown. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, I don't. Which one? What do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the head or the tail? You know what I'm saying?
Or was I so bad? Like, you come to that place after you survive, you know, and the anger, that's how the anger subsides and turns into something else. Like you said, first it was another emotion, then anger, but almost like gratefulness, or like you appreciate if you survive, you know, you can turn around like, it was okay. It wasn't that bad, or I wouldn't take it back, or it worked out. I ain't gonna say I wouldn't take it back, because I would probably tweak some stuff back there, but
for sure
it worked out.
It
worked out.
And that's the beauty of it.
Untraditionally, like, and so that's even something that I joke now, like, nothing, you don't have to be it's okay to be untraditional. Like, you know, it's okay. Like, and that's kind of how I live my life. Like, I'm gonna get there. You know, it's a way for me. Like, but not maybe the commercial way, the standard way, the way that, you know, the groups is saying that is, you know, you made the status quo. But,
right. But you made it through, which is amazing. And then you had, you know, they were both, you know, you had two grown-ups doing, you know, drugs at one point, and it's just basically you guys figure, your survival skills, even though they were prematurely developed,
Right.
they were developed way too early,
Yeah.
and for the wrong reasons. It's like you said, it worked out for your good, but and I know you were saying, like, we don't want to talk to you right now, but if you could have said something to her and said anything that you wanted to say, what would you have said
To my mother?
to your mom?
I feel like it was more so like, if this is something you're struggling with, then it's like what do we need to do to get help? Like, what do we need to do, like, to, kind of get you together? And I just feel like she was never really like committed to doing that.
Yeah, right.
Just because it was just so ingrained in her lifestyle. Like I said, this from even like the motorcycle club and stuff,
Yeah.
It's like, who knows how long. I'm just we're just thinking she's, they're riding bikes and I don't know what they was doing down there. But I think before, she may have been doing something, like, before we even knew about it, before it became crack, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, it was like, I think it could have been something else that you can kind of handle, at party, or, you know what I'm saying, and get yourself together, still go to work, whatever, I just think when that evolved, that was when it was really, evident,
But what I have came to understand now, because I just kind of went on I wanted to understand her, because I knew who she was, but like Felicia said, I think issues of her life really, it's like she was broken.
Yeah.
And I kind of discovered some of what her brokenness was, even, which even helped me have even, compassion. That is, so what the anger turned into trying to understand, then compassion, and then like, what can I do to love her more? Like, because I see her hole. I was able to identify her holes that I think she maybe tried to fix herself, or find ways to feel them, and a lot of that is from her mother, my grandmother, and her father, my mother's father, and her mother. Like, I was able to learn through the years of the stuff that the family that you don't talk about, you don't even think to ask. But as you get older and you kind of understand who you are, you like, and then you see some things of who they are and who you are, and then are the dynamics of them, and why is it that? What happened before I was born? Because why is it?
Yeah, that is deep. That's deep. And the fact that you said, the things that happened with your grandmother, her mother and stuff. We pass down the things that we don't take the time to heal from ourselves. And the things that you were saying, that you guys, we're thinking about, like, how can we help? Those are in identifying her holes and stuff like that. Though that is powerful, but those are the things that she should have done for you, as your mother, and for you to have to turn around and provide her with that is amazing. That you have the ability to see that and focus in on that. What do you?
Because we remember who she was. Like I said, she was fun. Like, everybody, all of our friends would love to be around her. But she was also like almost like the matriarch of our family. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know my grandmother is, or whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as like but still to this day, like, everybody will go and call my mother, from my uncles, my cousins. Like, it's like everybody will call my mother. They will run to my mother's house. She probably, they're about 5 of them probably over there right now. Like, that's how. It's like, because she's going to help you figure it out. She's always been one of those people. I don't care if she has a job or not or whatever, she gonna call the church and get you the money. Like, you know,
Yes.
she was like a person that she was very resourceful. Even when she had no resources, she was resourceful and she could like almost connect the dots and you know what I'm saying for you. Like and that's who we remember her to be. And like, she don't think we remember those things about her. So I feel like the rift with us is that how she feels, we should feel about her. She think that's how we feel, and it's not. Like, you know,
she's like, feeling guilty. She probably feels like
that's all it is. And until somebody forgive themselves, they won't believe you forgave them. You know,
wow, that's good. That is
many years. She's like, no, y'all don't. We like, Mama, we do. Like, let's start today. Like, we don't even. It's like God has like really, you know, like you said, what they say, come out the fire with no smoke. Like, you know, like that's how I feel. That I don't. That's not even affecting me. It's okay. Like, you know, we moved on and we're good. Like, but she like, no, you don't. No, y'all still.
So we always have to reprove that it's okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? We moved on. Like, it's unconditional. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's not fair for you because you're still, you know, as adult women, still searching for that peace and closure, you know, for your mom, and you're still having to provide that for her, and she still hasn't, you know, given that to you guys, which is unfair, but it's really big for you to be able to do that. And like you said, you know, you were talking about identifying things that you've noticed that you went through, and you know, back through generations, her mother and some of your other family members. What did you identify with that you saw was probably a struggle that contributed to her path in life?
Not really the same thing. My little sister is like not feeling loved. Like,
wow.
It's like my mother is to her mother and kids like my little sister was to, like, you know, it's just the relationship with her father thing. It just kind of like she didn't feel like her mother loved her, you know, that much, or she loved everybody, and she like cared, and so she always yearned for her mother's love, almost the same way we like, I do love you, you know, or she's like, Mama, love me too. Like, look what I did for you. She tried to buy her love, and it's like, and that's what I said. I identified like, wow, like she wanted her mother's love. That's the same thing we want for her, but she don't see that we want the same thing you want. It seemed like you would turn around and be like, I would never deny y'all what I know I needed, but she don't. But I guess I understand she, you know, can't. She's blind still, but because she's in her own hurt and her own yearning for love, and she's a 60-some-year-old woman, like still wanting her mother's love, like, you know. So I try to talk to my grandmother, and I try to, but I'm like, this is so deeply rooted. I'm done. Like, I ain't nothing I can, you know, but I get it. I understand. And I just and I just made me pray, like, Lord, I mean, he just, the replacement, I don't want to walk around like that. Because I didn't have it. And I see that's what it could do if you just feel like you missing something from the root who was supposed to love you. Like, and it could cut deep if you don't allow God to be your mama, you know, feeling, you know, that fullness, that love, that I am good enough and I am loved. You know, you have to find another. He will fill that in, like, but people go to other, and I think my mother went to drugs to try to just fill something in, which then led to men and, you know, the other things. But I will say, just even talking about it, I think I did some of the things my mother did, not the drugs, but maybe young, promiscuous, trying to fill something in, you know, you go through that. So I am a product of that, but subconsciously, like I can say, no, I'm not, but I can look back and see some of my behavior was trying to feel something that I didn't that was missing, which led me to have a baby, you know, as a teenager, like, you know, to feel just yearning for that and misguided, you know, looking for love in all the wrong places. You know? But I survived, you know. I understand, but through it all, I got understanding. I did, you know.
That's powerful. You know, when you talked about, you know, looking at, you know, at yourself and seeing yourself through, you know, or seeing your mom through your own lens, you know, inside of you. And that's something that we all have to do. And that helped me too, to see some of the decisions that I made. You know, it stems from, you know, your mother, grandmother. It is something that's just in the family. And until we embrace that and identify it and heal it, we'll continue to pass it on, you know. So that's something that is important. We have to do self-inventory, because that hurt and that bitterness and that emptiness is so ugly that it can really scar and damage your relationships and even in yourself, you know, like you said, having a baby at young, and I had a baby at 14, I was pregnant at 14. So just seeing some of those patterns that you're talking about, it's real and it's true. And we have to take time to heal. And I know you said, you know, she's still going through some stuff and struggling in some areas now, but what would being whole look like for you, if you could paint your ideal picture for your mom, what would her life look like to you? What would it be?
I think for her, was just her having like, what would that look like? I know what would having like a secure income, and a really, like she gonna get her bills paid, but really having a way to be to serve, like a boarding house. She loves taking care of people.
Yeah,
it's like giving of herself, I think, has helped sustain her. Like helping others, like and that's part of, like, when I look at myself, I'm like, I think I'm like my mama right there. Right there. Like different things you like. I think right there.
Right.
I think I am net, you know, but you know, not right there. But just like I said, like she's gonna give of herself. She loves it. She enjoys it. She's bored if she doesn't have somebody
that's relying on her
and encourage or to, like, come on, let's go. Like that's always, like, she loves doing that. Like, so
what about you, Felicia? Would you say the same thing, or do you feel differently?
I think even like being present, I think just throughout the course of time, throughout the course of the years, it's almost like she be on like a different schedule of like her lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And it's like sometimes it's like she's like super turned, like, you know, as far as her distance, you know, and it's like, so it's like holidays don't matter, you know, like nothing really don't matter, you know, she don't care if she talked to you in months or what, you know what I'm saying? But then it's like she'll be on another pattern of like, at least she'll go to church with us and out to dinner on Sundays, like every Sunday, you know what I'm saying? Or it's like, well, at least she'll come over on Christmas and then she's good. Like, you know, she's in the kitchen fixing plates, this and that, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so I just feel like it's been like just different levels of, you know, of her lifestyle. And while we've never, you know, we don't judge her life because we're grown now. So we don't live with you. Whatever you want to do is what you know. But I just feel like her presence, like we do miss her presence, like as her daughters. And you know what I'm saying? Like no matter how old you get, like you still want that. And then it's like, you know, the little ones are coming up or whatever, you know, and we want them to know you, you know, I mean, because you're still around, like, you know.
Right.
So I just feel like her presence, it's like I feel like those are the things that make people, I mean, because everyone has some form of vice or whatever you may call it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like how much it consumes you. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's when it's a problem. You know?
Right. Yeah.
When that's the only thing that matters. You know, it takes precedence over everything. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So,
very true. Yeah.
So that's what I would just, you know, like to just still have her present, like in our family structure.
Yeah. What does your mom mean to you?
She means a lot. I feel like I got so much from her. I got so much courage from her. Like, I mean, I've traveled, you know, we've moved, you know, to California, different things, but just on my own, it's like I've never been afraid to like get in the car and like go, you know what I'm saying? And like travel by myself or whatever, you know. Or you know, just being adventurous, or I feel like I got her boldness. You know, I'm very bold. Her cooking, like, you know, I look like her. So I feel like I got so, and then it was like I was the one of because I'm the middle. But it's like my mom would like just because, like I said, she would leave for a few days or whatever, you know, but not bringing it home, you know, respectfully. But it's like I would be the one that she would like tell her stories about like where she's been, you know. You're like, like I'm only been but it was like she kept it so 100 with me that it was like I so love her and respect her for that, because just like it made me because even when we were like living on 96th Street, you know, I was catching a bus down on 28th Street, you know what I'm saying? Like to see what was going on. And a lot of things that my mother would tell me would come into play. So I'm the one paying attention while we walk into the Children's Museum. Like, you know, I'm not thinking it's just la-di-da-di-da. You know what I'm saying? Because Mama just told me a few things that it just made me sharper, and a lot of it gave me street smarts. You know what I'm saying? It gave me street smarts at an early age, and just not being gullible or naive when it came to men, or being, you know, over some guy's house or whatever. You know, she would like tell me a story about some mob guy that got, you know, this happened to his girlfriend over, you know, so you don't want to do that. You know, it always rang with me, you know, like, okay, so that's not what I'm doing, you know. But just different things that she would tell me that I feel like just made me sharper and wiser earlier, you know.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. And I know you guys have been through, you know, even in your adult life, been through a lot. You suffered quite a bit of death in your family, is that right?
Yeah.
Last 2020, yes, for sure. But personally, my daughter Mariah, she was 17 years old, and she passed away of cancer in June of last year. So it's coming up on a year next month. Just like out the blue, she was the like healthiest, you know. She's been healthy all her life, never sick. She never missed a day. For like, she was just a health cheerleader. Went to North Central, basketball player. Just, you know, beautiful, so high energy, motivated. This little starlight, you know. But
I'm
like,
so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but she battled it like a year and a half. And you know, thought we had, you know, she was in remission, bone marrow transplants, 2 of them, and like 3 months later, it came right back. So aggressive, rare
like her system just was so strong that no matter what they tried to do to suppress her system to, you know, introduce the new cells, it was like her system just was like,
we coming in,
you know,
cells just kept coming back. So
17 years old. As a mother, how do you handle seeing your baby with cancer?
It was tough. You know, at the end it was tough, because like she was like so strong and resilient, and like, you know, just when I first had to tell her that when we got the call, because they were just running out, they found it in her spleen, but they couldn't. They had to take her spleen out because it was like growing off the. She started needing transfusions because her spleen was drinking, just gobbling the blood, and they just couldn't figure out why. Everything was like negative. So they took it out and found the cancer inside her spleen. And so when I had to tell her that's what they called and said, it was like, that was just like, I just knew that was just gonna devastate her. And
yeah,
it was like, I'm like, once I told her, she was like, so what do we got to do? You know, and I'm like, maybe she don't really understand what cancer is, like, you know, but just every time, what do we got to do and how long I got to stay? And it's like, she did that to get through it she got to remission, the bone marrow, all that, 6 days. She was just like the countdown. Okay, now how much longer I got to, you know? And so from April to December of 19 is what December she went into remission. And then February of 20 is when we see some cells coming back. So from February to June, that's when it was hard, you know, because she was sick and it was like in pain and, you know, nothing went like how it was supposed to, just because her body couldn't fight it right back again. Like after having, you know, being broken down from the last process.
Right.
So it was hard to watch that for February to June, you know. Then one day they told us that she had she went for a clinic and they're like, it don't look good and we need to have a meeting. And, you know, there's nothing more we could do. She got to go into hospice and the next day she passed. She was supposed to come home on hospice on a breathing machine and she passed 24 hours later.
Well, a couple times before that, it was like a few times when she was doing the chemotherapy, they had to stop it because her lungs was filling up with the fluid. So it was like during, you know, some part of the process, her lungs had got damaged and it just kind of started going downhill from there.
So they couldn't give her any more chemo. So the cells, what can you do to stop the cancer cells? So, you know, the 24 hours later, so I'm like, we didn't even have time to come home and tell family or because, you know, the next day when I was supposed to bring her home, she didn't, you know, and sometimes I'm like, and people ask me, I'm like, I will be, you know, wreck it. And I'm like, I don't know. I have peace. I don't even understand, you know, but what I do know is when you watch your loved one suffer, I think that affected me more than if this is what it is. And especially when you go down the checklist, like she's at the best hospital a child could be at in the world, in the country. Like she had the insurance that was all cover everything. I had to pay $1. She was not denied good care, good. So, okay, she would, you know, her family supported. We was there, you know, every step of the process. Like she passed knowing she was loved without a shadow of a doubt. Like, you know, there's nothing, the doctors gave it all they had. And it was like a form of non-Hodgkin's lymphomic cancer that's rare. Not a whole lot of, only a couple thousand people had it. You know, the research is slim. But I know the doctors and they cared about my family, you know, so I'm like, what was left for us? So and it wasn't like tragic, horrific. You know, I understood. I was there. You know, and if she's no longer suffering, you know, I'm like,
because it killed her not being able to go to school and all, because her immune system, even when she had got cleared, her immune system was so low that it was like she was having to do homeschool and this and that, and she was still so like isolated, you know. And then it was like when it started to take a toll on her appearance, it was like she still wanted to be isolated because she didn't, you know how teenagers are, you know, for one, but then for two, it's like she didn't want anyone to feel sorry for her. She didn't want anybody to feel sorry for her. So she'll, you know, answer the FaceTime with the phone up at the ceiling. Like, you know, you can still feel her spirit, her personality. She still got jokes, like, you know, this or that, you know, or whatever, never take her bonnet off or, you know, just different things like that or whatever. Cause she was a girly girl. Like, you know, she just started, getting her little, buying her bundles and everything, getting into that whole vibe, with the nails and all that, lashes and all that, like really, coming into her own and her style and like all that stuff, and so it's like we just still try to like just keep her spirits lifted, like have people, go up there and give her a massage or get her, have them do her nails while she's up there or, just different things like that. And food was like, one of the main things that was like the highlight of the day, like, what we eating tonight.
Right.
So we just did all that we could to just like still, she still believed, she left here still believing that God was going to heal her. Like she left here still believing that. And like, and so did I. Like I never, not one time in my mind from the time that I was told that she had, I never thought that would be, you know what I'm saying? That would take her out, or even so fast. You're like, what? Like, so, but just to see her, just the healthiest person, like I said, in the family, and see her just decline in that way, it's like, and she just started to be in more and more pain. So it was just like, so LaShawna was supposed to bring her home on an oxygen machine, but then on in a hospice state. So we're like, okay, what would that have been like? Even
right.
and this was like right in in the middle of COVID, like,
oh my God,
it's so like
how do you press past it? How do you get through losing a child and a niece? How do you
one day at a time, together, like we have like everything, pretty much everything else, LaShawna has shown me, I mean, because she's always been extremely strong in her faith or whatever, and a lot of times it's like a lot of people are until it's time to exercise it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and then that's when people turn angry at God, and this, you know what I'm saying? So many different things, and it's like so many days that, walking out the hospital, it's like you see, the 7-year-old, the 5-year-old, the 2-month-old, the, you know what I'm saying, the infant. It's like, so it wasn't a personal attack like on our family per se.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It's like, but so
one of those things that was just in our journey.
And
I don't understand, but what I do know and what I do hang on to is if God allowed it, I accept it. And so I accepted it and I settled it. Without understanding it. But what I know, I'm just, like I said, you didn't heard what we've been through, and I know he's with me. He's with us. And he was with my daughter. Like I know that he showed me. I've already affirmed that. I already said that. I already announced that God is with me. And I'm like, he was with me on June the 9th. Like he didn't step out the room for a minute and then didn't come back in. Like so if he was with me when we like, oh, she's in remission, thank you, God. Like he was still on that ride. Like we were celebrating, boy, God is good. When in December, when the remission is like, we knew it, like, God is good all the time. And it's like on June 9th, was he still good? Like, is that still all the time? Is all the time, ain't it? Like, still in the time of all.
That is so powerful. You said I settled it, and even if you didn't understand it, God gave you peace and you settled with it. That is huge. And then because there's so many people who have lost loved ones that aren't even as close as children, but have still not recovered. That's a big thing.
And I think about that
all the time. You said that still applies now, doesn't it? And we're not talking like that's really easy to say. Like you're in church and you stand up there in testimony service and you say, "I bless the Lord." All the time. We're talking to a mother who lost her child, her 17-year-old baby girl, to cancer, and is still sitting here saying, It applies at all times. If this is an all time, ain't it?
Yeah.
He already showed me that I know Lashana Williams a long time ago. And I'm like, what I do know, the day before, I'm like, boy, thank you, God, for like, I just know he ain't gone the next day.
Right.
Like, I just know that. And just with that knowing, like, he's had me even through all this, like, in this, I know him even more.
Yeah.
Tell me
Deeper.
Even it's like we just went deeper. We went deeper in a way that you don't know how deep it is. You just don't know until y'all go there. You don't know how deep you and God can go until it's time to go. Until it's time to go.
Wow.
And that's just what it is. Like that's for me. Like, and so I'm like, and she was yours, Lord. She was ours, but I didn't have no control over that. Like her coming or going, she's yours. I'm yours. We're yours. Like it showed me that nothing is mine. Like I thought.
Yeah.
That was my daughter, but she's his. And so am I. And so
a lot of people don't get to experience that, understand. That is, like you said, you just don't know how deep you and God can go until you go.
Until it's time to go.
Yeah.
Until it's time to go.
Hey, you.
Well, right.
Real quick. Because that's how fast things can happen. And that if you even know to even tiptoe there, it's like he'll just, because you don't know how I would never have imagined that would have happened to me, like to her, like, and to me, so now I think we was talking, me, Felicia, and my father was talking the other day. I'm like, it's been a year almost. What now for me? What do you want me to draw from where we just came from? What's next? Where we going? Where we going? Like, because my plan that I had, like, my little path and my little book, like, ultimately it's real. What we doing? Like, what we doing now? Like, what you want to do?
Yeah.
Wow. What you want me to do? That's the definition of peace that surpasses understanding. Wow, that is amazing. Wow. So, and I'm gonna post some of those sayings. You don't know how deep you and God can go until it's time to go. That thing. And then the fact that you said you settled with it, even if you didn't understand it, you still trusted God. I'm posting those tonight. That is powerful.
You welcome, sis.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. I'm gonna make sure your name is on it so they know where it came from. But that thing is powerful.
So many people have gained so much strength even through, and that's what I find to be like so amazing about the whole thing, because it's like, this is who she is. Like, the faith that she has is like, we call her Mary Magdalene. Like, everybody's like, dude, she need a church bus to, like, because she's willing to go get anybody who want to go today. Like, she's been like a soldier in the army,
Yeah.
She's been that, and I feel like God showed her favor. Wow. God has protected her heart. Like, people, like you when you hear something about somebody, and everybody know how, it was like my niece was her pride and joy, her daughter, and it's like, they're like, oh, I can only imagine like how Shauna must be, like, this and that, and so they end up calling her or whatever, and then like she like what she just kind of told you, give them her peace, offer them her peace, like, and they're like, oh my God, like, my uncle, like, hearing you makes me okay. It makes me even know further that if I might be able to handle losing one of my kids, because I thought you was gonna be, but what you just told me.
Wow.
So I feel like just even in the midst of all this, I've seen God. I've seen God through Lashana and Mariah. I've seen God. Because he's definitely coded and protected like her heart, like for real, you know? And I've watched so many people gain strength, like come with a tear in their eye, thinking that's the place that she's in. But when she displays her strength, they're like, it's almost like she's witnessing to people unknowingly from her what she just went through.
Thank you.
Give her a hug. Give her a hug. I can't.
You feel it too?
Wow. That was
because you don't. I'm just. This is what it is for me. So I didn't know you felt that way.
No, but I've been told you that.
I mean, I knew some of that, but
and I feel like he shows favor just because of who. Like I said, it has been what you call it, diligent, like in seeking him, worshiping him, like and showing people. It's like I said, people have jokes about her and her, you know what I'm saying, and how she is with God or whatever the case, you know. And she's like, oh well, call me to, okay,
right.
The church bus outside, and like whatever y'all got to say, you know,
right.
But she's her heart is pure, and she's like how we are as far as like sisters, and our bond is like she offers a morsel of that to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like God has honored that, the person that she is, like, you know what I'm saying? He's honored that.
Or even sitting here reflecting on our early, like maybe when you let God be your mother and your father, like early.
Yes, that's what you know.
Because he's taking care of you at 12, 13. He already showed me then. That's what I'm like, it worked out. Because really he was there then.
Wow.
I realized that early on that he was the one there then that became my mother and father and navigated and guided and sent the people to cover us. Like I said, like my aunt, my Aunt Joyce and other people that just somehow he placed managers at work that would step in and you need to ride home. But each step it was to get me to the point to get, which is for all of us. But I was able to identify that was him back then. Like
wow.
And I feel like. Sorry. And I feel like so many people, like hopefully just in them watching this and people that know us, because sometimes it's like, it's so hard to tell people about, because people are like, dang, how did you get that strength? Like, how did, you be like, God, and it's like, okay, like, how did you get that for real? How did you, and it's like, and I just feel like so many people, first of all, are so afraid to admit their love for God, their knowing of God, like, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, it's like, I feel like the other people, it's almost like they don't get to see God because it's more about church. Everything is church. It's like, no, it's church and it's God. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like a lot of times when you tell them that is like your strength, or that is the reason, or that's how you could get back up or whatever. Like, it sounds like a bunch of like mumbo jumbo to like people. Like they don't believe it. They like, it's really
real.
don't.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. It's really like,
and I kid you not. It's like just even because we work together, and it's like over the last few weeks, it's like different people have just been like, wow, like y'all, like, why do y'all seem so young and so like, like y'all so beautiful, like, and we're looking like, and this is like multicultural, like old to young. It's like,
yeah,
but it's almost like they notice this thing, like, because I don't think I'm pretty, or I mean, I'm cute, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, you fine. Wise there, you fine. Good.
Thank
Period.
you. But I told my sister, I said, I feel like it's the spirit that people see.
Your spirit makes you beautiful.
It is the
Or
spirit,
not, but it's your spirit
Wow.
that makes you
and
beautiful.
the energy that we carry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, because mutual, we're like one in this. We say the same things, have the same tone,
Right.
say the same phrases, say that. You know what I'm saying? Just because we spend so much time together or whatever, you know. But we're on the same frequency. You know, we're on the same frequency. So, but it's like, I told Lashana that it's like it's the energy that we carry. It's our spirit that we see, and so it makes us look young. Because I'm not a kid, like, you know, by no means, you know. But it's like,
you look, excuse me. You certainly look like it. I would beg to differ.
But when you have that inside, it's like you exuberate so many things. You know what I'm saying? So people can put their finger on you. You know.
Yes. Wow. So tell us what you're doing now. Tell us about how amazing you guys have just become and transformed your life. What are you guys doing today?
Currently I'm doing photography and everything, you know, volunteering, you know, waiting on church to open back up still. But yeah, just trying to start getting into like more content creating and documentaries and things. I commend you on the stories that you're telling here, having presented here on your platform as well. So yeah, I'm inspired to just, you know, tell real stories and stuff that'll make impact and change.
Yes. And what about you, Lashana?
Well, right now, Felicia and I have a janitorial service. We are partners in that we do, and then I do accounting service as well. So right now it's like tax, you know, time wrapping up. So you know, just working on that, staying busy with that for the moment, but trying to even figure out my next, you know, what do I want to do next? You know, I like, you know, we mentor a lot, and I like working with children, young people, but even so I'm just trying to zone in on a focus of working with the youth that even have been through, you know, traumatic experiences, or, you know, some of the things I have to, you know, somewhere in there. So I'm just searching and trying to figure some stuff out on, you know, some things that are closer to my heart that I've kind of been twirling and want to do. Just be an impact, but be available and present. Like, people work for me that weren't in my family and stuff. So, you know, just I'm trying to figure that out for my next play. You know, so pray for me and pray for me in that. You know. But I really do. I do. It's then, especially with my daughter being gone, like so many kids that need a mother or motherly guidance or nurturing or a stamp, somebody to stamp them or, you know, approve them. So I'm here for that. You know, who needs approval?
I'm like Mariah her daughter had so great friends, because like about 5 of them stopped over here and which is a testament to the mom that she was, you know, Mother's Day, and like gifted her with flowers and like custom pillows with their pictures on it and all these beautiful gifts and stuff, you know, which I thought was really, really sweet. So
it's like the dining room table was just filled with like I've never gotten
you couldn't have put another thing on there. Like, that's how filled it was. They showered
pillows and stuff, and I'm like, wow, Mariah, dang, okay, like, you know, I see you, you know, but it was beautiful. I couldn't. And I think people might have thought, okay, I hope it's probably gonna be hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't even have a sad moment if I tried to duck off because hey, you at home? I want to stop by and drop you off something.
I mean, all day,
all day, and I'm like, wow, God, like, because this is the first Mother's Day. You don't know how you gonna feel. And I hear people say, okay, now, but when the holidays come, and I'm like, it was not a moment that I didn't feel loved. Or embraced, like by people's love and gestures and things so you got this pillow made, ordered it and had it ready for the day with a picture of me and Mariah, or like you took thought in this, you was preparing or anticipating, and I'm like, you did that for me? Like, I'm not even your mother, or but quite a few people, the collective. I'm like, more than one person. I got more than one person to think.
Right.
But it was just beautiful. It was beautiful, and I'm just so appreciative of this all the love. It has just held me up of all the love that I yet still receive. In the last year.
And Mariah's birthday is May the 18th. And so she would have been 18 years old. So we're going to do a balloon release and have a little skating, gathering.
That's so sweet.
We're going to celebrate her. Like, we would have been on an airplane somewhere, leave it up to her, just because she always just loved to have a good time, and she was so adventurous, and just loved to live life, love to hang out with her friends, shop, concerts,
she made us live.
She's
still making you live, and I'm with you, Felicia.
And that's how we share so many good memories of her. Like, we don't shed tears of sorrow around here. It's like we're always just kind of like laughing or remember what she said or this, it's like we wanted to be cheer. We both tried out for cheerleading at North Central, and she was a whole North Central cheerleader, we lived through her, indeed. And we'll make sure she lives on forever.
Yes, absolutely. And like you said, Felicia, the favor. Oh my gosh, the fact that you guys can. Sorry, I have something on my lip and it is hurting. The fact that you guys can talk about her and you don't have a sad song to sing, or of course it's sad, but you guys are just focusing on the joy that she brought you, and the joy that she was, and how amazing she was, and the fun things she liked to do. That in itself is favor. That's just to be able to even talk without, because I would be listening. That ain't my cup, okay? I would be I would be no good. I ain't got that favor yet. So the strength that you guys display is so amazing. It helps. Like you said, Felicia, earlier, you never know what you're going to go through, but because of what you guys are ministering to other people, I may be able to go through something a little bit better now, seeing your strength. So that is so amazing. You guys are doing awesome things. You're doing everything. You got photography, this cleaning business. I mean, just amazing. And then things to come, like you were talking about, Lashana. So just congratulations to surviving. Congratulations to surviving and thriving. Because not many people can say that. And I'm so privileged and honored to have shared this hour with you. You guys have been a blessing to me, and I know to a lot of others. So I'm very grateful for this time, and your story is so amazing. Tell us how we can reach you, because everybody needs pictures. Everybody needs some cleaning done. Tell us how we can reach out to you.
You can follow me at Cultivated Concepts or cultivatedconcepts.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and you can email me at lwilliamsfinancial@yahoo.com.
Yeah. Tax deadline, baby.
Yeah.
Cash it on in, y'all.
I want to thank you as well for allowing us to even share, our stories. Hopefully nobody get mad at us, but
it's your truth. It's your truth. Nobody can get mad at your truth.
But
nobody can get mad at your truth.
To share, our journey, pieces of our journey, it's just, we even just want to leave with don't be sad for us. Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like we overcomers.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and things can be all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? They will be if you want them to be, you know. So, you know,
because
it's all
life
good.
is filled with so many ups and downs.
Yeah.
And we know how to handle the ups so well.
Yeah.
So well. You know, it's like, but that's not you would only know up if you know down. It all coexists. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so you have to be able to like not allow something to be a stopping block. You know, it's a hurdle, but I love you too, Nate Red.
Oh, Nate Red, listen, that's one of my favorite people, y'all. I fight for Nate Red now. I'll throw some hands over my buddy, honey.
It was his idea, so just connecting us. We want to thank Nate Red for connecting us.
Yes, Nate Red is the bomb. I am a proud supporter.
But he's a supporter.
No shame. Nate Red is in the building. Listen here. I don't even want to talk to you. So don't click out. But if you guys need any type of bad clothing, honey, Nate Red got it. And I represent Nate Red all the time. I love it. Love it. I love Ron.
We love him to death. Like he always supported us and had our back. Like we love him.
But then he also like lets us know that he's proud of us too. And like, you know, like he's because not you know your family love you and different things like that, you know. It's like, but he'll always just let us know, and because he knows our journey, you know. And so you know, he's like, you know, he loved the way that we turned those things and triumphed over those things, you know, and how we evolved. So and the feeling is mutual. We love him.
We're so proud of him too, because he has
he has a story too. I'm waiting for him to decide he wants to go ahead and write a book. Because
really,
for real, I mean, tell you, your family is powerful and so blessed because you guys have gone through so much and you're still here and you're literally thriving.
Well, thank you.
It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, all we know is up. We already been down. It's only up from
only
here.
up. Yes, Cardi B said it. If it's up, then it's up.
You can lay down and cry one day, and then you better get up. Okay,
you better get on up, huh? Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much again. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, another shout out to Nate Red, Ron Williams. Go check him out. Nate Red, go check him out. He's on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere.
And Chris too. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris, for having us.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
We love Chris.
Yeah. He's evolved too, and I'm so proud of him. You guys doing this show.
He is. Yes, he is so the most amazing man that I know. So shout out to Christopher Green.
Hey, Flo. Say my cameraman.
I got a show for him, huh?
Okay. That was
He is the best producer. He's the best everything to me. So
he's an all-around good guy. He always has been ever since we've been going through the years. He's just a sweet guy.
I love what y'all doing. So y'all keep it up too, okay?
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot. Thank you guys. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in. Again, thank you, Chris, for being such an amazing producer. And thank you, ladies, for sharing your story. And we want to hear from you too. So if you guys have a story, please make sure you send it to theisurvivedshow@gmail.com. We want to hear what you have survived. We have so much coming up, but we want to still hear from you so that we can make sure that your voice is heard too. We want to highlight you as an overcomer that has raised up when most people fall down. So we know you're out there, and we have some special things and exciting things coming up, and we want you to be involved. So please, again, email us at theisurvivedshow@gmail.com. Thank you so much again to our beautiful guests, Lady Felicia and Lady Shauna. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night.